Okay, we're now live. So how's it going? Anyone who's on, I'm just gonna make sure to leave everything on the side. I see we got one. Oh, that's me. I'm the one viewer. Awesome. So since nobody's here yet, I'm just gonna wait until until somebody shows up, and I'll start a conversation then. But for now, we're gonna leave it as it is. Alright, so I don't see anybody on yet, so I'm still gonna wait it out. Forgot how slow this game is. Holy shit. They have a way to speed it up. Oh, sorry about that. Hey, what's up? So I'm going to be starting the Peppermint Park discussion in about 5 minutes. There's some things I just want to go over, because I got a couple of questions through Discord and through YouTube. Some in the comments section. I made a video on it, but I made it private because I really did not like the way it came out. It felt very rushed. So I'm going to be doing a discussion about it for the next hour or so. And I'm going to be answering any questions because there are a couple things that came up recently that I do need to address. So I'm going to start that in about a minute or so. Okay, so you know what? We're about at 3 viewers. I'm fine. I'll start talking. So I got in touch with Alyssa Horton today, and I made a deal with her regarding some of the props. I'm waiting to hear back from her, so hopefully this will go through. But I requested one of the puppets and I requested one of the cassettes because there's only one cassette. So the reason why I'm doing this is because I originally thought I was done, but I got a couple of messages in my inbox and a couple on my Discord asking me to keep up with Peppermint Park, which I didn't think I was going to do. Nothing's changing, by the way. I'm still going to my gaming channel. I still want to do that. But I figured just to make everybody's life a little bit easier, I'm tweaking the schedule just a little bit. And I'm going to take Mondays for Peppermint Park conversations, mainly because I know a couple of people still want to talk about it, and some people that I got into conversations with were really upset about it. So every Monday night around 8 o'clock, it's a little bit later tonight, I'm going to be live streaming for about an hour, answering anything you guys want about Peppermint Park, or if I got any news or anything, I'm more than willing to share. That's the biggest part of the news. I should be hearing back from her soon. She hasn't seen it yet, but if she doesn't, I'm going to ask her if I could just get into direct contact with John Horton within the next couple of weeks. Oops, my bad. But yeah, I don't know what's going to happen outside of that, but I do want to give Mondays to something. And oh, the tapes? I'm considering selling them actually. I actually have them in storage right now, but because I really don't feel a need for them, I was going to sell them as a whole lot, but I just haven't figured out how much I'm really going to do it for. If she does offer me the puppet, though, I'll probably hold on to them. That's the only way. But if she doesn't offer it, then I'm not going to even bother. I still have them, though. Um, the one thing I noticed, though, was that I had kept them in a box for so like they didn't get destroyed or anything, but I kept them in a box for so long I legitimately forgot that I had them. And while I was cleaning out my house one day, we were clearing some stuff out, throwing some things away. I actually found the volume 4, and I'm like, oh my god, I completely forgot to put these into storage. So they were all sitting in like the back part of a shelf with like some Pokemon VHSs and everything. I probably threw them back there after I uploaded volume 6, and then I put them all into a tiny box, taped it down, and I put it in an area with no humidity, decent room temperature, and they're stored away, so there's no fading, nothing can happen to the magnetic strips, and they're all good. But I haven't figured out what I'm going to do with them just yet. Exactly, that's the problem. It's difficult for it to be priced because some people have a high interest in it, some people have zero interest in it. And that's what I'm noticing I'm having issues with. I'm hoping to make it soon, though, known. But I feel bad because a couple of people really wanted me to upload some more things, and I'm like, I really don't know what I can do. Exactly, it took a couple of weeks. And I noticed with Peppermint Park, even when they were selling on eBay, they didn't really sell that fast. It would take a while for them to even go to be completed orders. And some of them, the only reason they sold was because I bought them. I thank you. Yeah, I still have it in the whole box. Like I said, if she offers me the puppet, which I am gonna just say right now is the Ernie one, then I'll hold on to them. But if not, then I really don't know what to do. Problem is, I'm waiting on a reply, and it's like one of those things where you get a reply, then you message the person, and then they don't reply, and then you're just waiting and waiting and waiting, and you're just hoping to hear back soon. Yeah, I thought about that for a while. I was thinking about archiving TV shows. But the problem is, I always felt that it was something that you have to have a high dedication toward. And my issue was, I wanted for a while I wanted to archive some TV shows and I wanted to find missing episodes and whatnot. But I found that it's kind of a gamble online because I did that actually. I made an attempt to do that with a couple of shows. Some I don't remember which ones I exactly was looking for, but I bought about 30 VHSs from people who claimed to have stuff and it was absolutely nothing special. So I kind of just they've been just sitting around and now I've been recording over them because all it is like CSI Miami, things like that. I expected things that would be way better because when you say like, oh, Cartoon Network, so and so, NBC, I was like, whatever. I'm expecting something decent. Like the commercials I looked through, I have a couple, but I don't know how special they are. And yeah, 3 years. Wow, that's crazy. I wanted to, like I said, but I just couldn't find a way to dedicate myself to it. But kudos to you. That's great. But yeah, I've been thinking about like trying to find something lost media only because when I got messages regarding it like saying can you keep something on the channel, can you do something, it I just felt bad. I didn't know what to do, so I said all right, once a week I'll do a live stream, and if something really big comes up I'm more than willing to take care of it. But in the I wanted to also mention I do have like a project that I've been working on. It's kind of like a more quiet project because I don't know how it's going to go or when it could even be launched. But it's something that I'm going to be if this does happen, which it might not, so I don't want to get anybody's hopes up. But if this project were to be a success, it would be on a sister channel. It would not be on here. Mainly because I feel like it's something that it's something that I've had in my head for a while, but right now I don't have the right materials. It is Peppermint Park related, but until I get the right materials, I won't be able to do anything. It's kind of one of those. Oh wow. Yeah, I had a couple of old kids WB videos I made as a kid, but I don't know what I did with them to be honest. Knowing me, I might have even lost them. But I should actually, now that I think about it, I should mention how the schedule is going to work because there is a lot to bring in. So on Mondays, like I said, I'll always be live streaming around 8 p.m. and it'll always be Peppermint Park slash Lost Media AMA questions, anything you want. Tuesdays are kind of a dead day, so we don't have anything planned for Tuesdays. Wednesdays, we're going to be doing gameplay videos starting next Wednesday. Thursdays, we weren't sure what to do with yet, so we've kind of kept them to the side. Fridays are Fan Hack Fridays. Saturdays and Sundays, we don't have anything planned either. We only have really 3 videos a week planned. And what we're thinking of doing was setting aside some type of way to implement future videos, like trying to, like, if I'm requested a show, it's kind of, I would be more than willing to look into it. It's mainly the fact that I don't have the like urge to look for anything. It's kind of one of those. That's why I haven't been focusing on that aspect. But if somebody were to show me something that I'd have a high interest in, or hey, this is missing and this is what it's from and whatnot, I would look for it. But right now, I don't see anything that really gives me a high interest. And it does suck. But you know, you do what you gotta do. Yeah, I actually was hoping to get lucky on eBay a couple of weeks ago when before I decided to rebrand my channel. I was thinking about doing that, but at the same time, I was like, I spent over $70 on tapes that had nothing, and I'm like, I don't want to throw all that money at something and not have anything to look back on. I guess that was the issue I had. Fortunately, though, I know that at thrift stores, some people have come across some really good stuff. Like there's this place called the Aqueduct that's near me in Brooklyn, and I've heard some really good stories. So you never know. Maybe that might be something that I could look for. But yeah, I've been noticing that even with my channel, I'm noticing a trend where I'm just getting messages regarding, can you please do something lost media related? And I just feel bad. It's like there's got to be something. Like that's why I'm doing these on Mondays, because for the meantime, at least I found that this is something I can do. Oh, that's pretty cool. I haven't seen that show in God knows how long. Oh my God, that's actually pretty cool. I know some people who actually recommended some tapes on eBay, but I never really went through with it. That's crazy. I'm sure you uploaded it though. Hang on, I'm just gonna switch the game for a second. Hey Connor, you didn't miss anything. Just talking about how I'm updating the schedule. That's really cool that you uploaded that though. Yeah, what I want to do is I definitely want to make Monday nights for streaming. Tuesday nights, I don't know yet. Wednesdays will be regular games. Thursday's blank. Friday is going to be, oopsies. Friday is going to be dedicated to Fan Hack Fridays. Speaking of which, a couple people actually asked if I could upload footage from games that are prototypes, and I'm like, well, see, the problem is with games, as like it's not as difficult to find things because there are ROM dumps and whatnot. So it's not as difficult to find as like a TV show per se. Oh yeah, by the way, my name's Patrick. I forgot to mention that. I don't know if I've ever brought that up in a video. Actually, I'm just gonna send this stream to my Discord for a second Because I just realized no one probably has a freaking clue that I'm even talking. Well, if they are, I'm a little too old for them. That'd be actually kind of scary, considering the fact I'm freaking 25. But yeah, I'm hoping to hear back from Alyssa Horton soon because if I can get an answer, then I could actually organize my stuff a little more easily. Oh, what's this? Oopsies. My bad. Hang on. Just got a message. I just need to check it for 1 second. Okay. Okay. Oopsies. And I probably named myself AAA while I wasn't looking. You know, I used to go to a thrift store called E&J. It actually used to be a very good store, but they started to change the place a lot. They used to accept VHSs that were not just blanks, but random VHSs. Like one time, I found someone's wedding video there. I didn't buy it because I was like, that's a little creepy to buy someone's wedding tape. But they used to take in anything. I noticed though over the years that they stopped doing that. So what I would do is I would go to this store. If you're familiar with the Brooklyn area, there's a place on Atlantic Avenue, which is like right on the border of Brooklyn and Manhattan. It's called Out of the Closet. What it used to be just an all clothing store, and what happened was they changed it for music and movies. But they have this whole box of just random VHSs. I got lucky with a couple of them. Like I got a couple of old Pokemon recordings on them, but I never really did anything with it. I had a couple of I think I had the Kids WB ones if I'm right. Oh, you're auctioning what Pokemon episodes? I might be actually. Are they like season 1, season 3, anything in particular? Like Hoenn I think I know they're technically like season 5 for Hoenn or whatever, or season 6, but I always just called them based on the region. In case you're wondering, I'm actually making the characters' names after Megas XLR. I've been binge watching that for like the past 3 days. That's actually pretty cool. Are they from Kids WB or Cartoon Network? 'Cause I don't remember when that show was aired. UPN. Oh my god, I actually remember that very briefly because in New York we have UPN 9. So I remember they used to do the Pokey Rap on it. I might be actually interested. What's your asking price though? One thing I probably should upload on a separate channel. I just wish that Funimation and Toei were not this bad. But I actually have the original edited Dragon Ball Z Tree of Might movie recording on, I think it was on DVD. But you can't. You can only buy it, I think, through a box set, which costs like $300 or $400. It's the Rock the Dragon collection. That's not bad. I might actually buy those. If you could send me the eBay link on my Discord later, that'd be awesome. But yeah, I actually have the Tree of Might movie. Problem is, every when I used to upload it, Toei and Funimation used to actually copyright strike me on my old channels, and I could never actually keep it up. I was gonna put it on Daily Motion at one point, but I never got around to it. It's the Tree of Might is the third Dragon Ball Z movie, but they had an edited version from the, I forget the company's name. It was Funimation was the second dub. The first dub was shit. Ocean, there we go, the Ocean Group company, which was the European dub, but then they brought it over, but then they redubbed with new people. I don't know. All I know is that it only aired once on Cartoon Network and it was broken into three parts, which was just weird in my opinion. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, Dragon Ball Z is my main thing. At least it's like one of my top three things that I've never gotten out of. I actually have a video for Dragon Ball Z games that I'm going to be doing because I wanted to make a Dragon Ball Z month because I have all the Japanese games and whatnot. I had a hacked game at one point for Dragon Ball Z, but I don't know what happened to it. I would love to do a Dragon Ball Z month on my channel. Oh, that sucks. If it's from the late 2000s, I would guess it's probably during the Majin Buu era. Oh, really? Fucking WWE? Unless it's Hulk Hogan, I could care less about it. I think that's WWF, and that was before they changed the name. I could be wrong. I'm not big into wrestling. The only people I knew were Hulk Hogan, Doink, and a few others, but that's really it. I used to play SmackDown versus Raw when I was a kid, but we used to just do that for fun. Like when I think it was the last time I ever watched WWE was when Rob Van Dam was on it. I don't even know what he was part of. If it was SmackDown or Raw. But it just feels so much better to be able to address the questions that people are asking. I'm noticing the people that actually asked me about these things aren't on here, so I find that kind of funny. But I'm just glad that I'm actually addressing them and making it clear that yes, I will keep bits and pieces around. Because even though it's not my main focus, I don't want people to feel like I'm just throwing them away. Because I wouldn't want to do that. But yeah, if you notice, my. Oh, speaking of anime, oh damn, Fist of the North Star. I had bootleg VHSs of that back in like '96. I was like 3. My dad had brought them home. My dad was a sanitation worker, and someone had thrown out a bunch of VHSs of Fist of the North Star. I think they were Japanese dubbed too, but we threw them away years ago. Oh, that was awesome. I don't really remember the show that much. I remember playing the NES game though. Yeah, to answer the Peppermint Park VHS question, that's actually a pretty good one. So the first one I found on eBay. What happened was I found Peppermint Park Volume 2 originally. So I went with that and I uploaded it probably 2 weeks after I got it in the mail. And someone had told me, oh, there are other tapes out there. And I didn't know much about the show, but someone claimed to have volume one, but it wasn't a real volume one. It was just somebody who cut all the YouTube videos up and then put them on a tape. And I later found out it was fake. But I found volume 4 on Amazon. Volume 5, someone had given me the link to an old eBay listing from 4 years prior, and I actually got in touch with the person. It was someone who ran a thrift store in, I think it was Massachusetts, and they had sold it to me for like $30. And then volume 1, a guy named It's the Lazy Town was the one who found it for me, and I bought that one. Volume 6 was the Nightmare one that I had to basically scramble around to find. I got There was somebody who owned the tape, but was reluctant to sell it at first. Then I actually managed to convince the person to get me to sell it to me. The asking price was $200. Originally, she asked for $500. I said I'm not doing that. And excuse me if I'm a little sick, by the way. It's a little cold in Brooklyn. Sorry about that. But I finally got it in May of 2018. And according to Alyssa Horton, John Horton's daughter, John confirmed that those are all the volumes. So to answer your question, that's where I got all the tapes. And that guy, the weirdo who makes videos, he actually sold me the demo tape for volume 2. So yeah, that's actually where they all came from. They actually all came from different parts of America, which I still find crazy. Because I never expect... Hey, not a problem. I'm always willing to preserve it. Uh, I don't know, to be honest with you. That's a good question if there's no more Peppermint Park tapes. I actually did some research, and I was able to find some older eBay listings from prior years. There were only about maybe 6 listings that were ever made, and 2 of them were relistings. So I only found 4 real listings of them. And it's weird because, like, if you were to apply Volume 6's letter O segment, you'll notice that it's completely different from the one I have on the tape. So these are things that I've never gotten complete answers to. And until John Horton's daughter reaches back to me, I really don't have much info. And, I'm totally fine with preserving it. Even if, like, it ever were to get quote unquote deleted, I would be willing to take care of it. I've been meaning to upload all 6 volumes in one long play. I have it right on my computer. I should probably just upload it tonight, to be honest. I've had it up there for almost 4 months. Volume 7 special is called Peppermint Park Halloween Specials. Wait, what? Because John had stated that there was never an actual tape. It was only an audio cassette. When I got in touch with him, he said it was only... No, the Peppermint Park wiki was made by It's the Lazy Town. He actually hasn't been uploading, and he hasn't been updating that wiki in months. To confirm that was actually because a guy named Romantic Bro had quote-unquote segments of Peppermint Park that he titled Peppermint Park, but they were never confirmed. I want to believe that Romantic Bro did work on Peppermint Park, or he did something. And those are pre-production videos that were never actually released to the general public. Excuse me. Never released to the general public. But to answer your question, there actually is no Halloween special that was ever released to the general... Oopsies, forgot to get the thingy. It was never actually released to the public. Pumpkin and Colorful Witch. I mean, if they're on the cassette when I'm able to get my hands on it, then I can confirm that Romantic Bro is telling the truth. But until then, I'm going to remain skeptical on it. Oh, so I found out about the show. It's actually kind of funny. In my senior year of college, I had this friend named Frank Presti. I still talk to him. We were hanging out one day, and we were playing Yu-Gi-Oh! And he showed me this video because there's this guy named Artie Lang, who he is one of the people on a show called The Howard Stern Show. And we used to make fun of this thing all the time because Howard Stern's kind of like this asshole who nonchalantly makes fun of people, and Artie Lang is his co-host. Well, my friend sent me a video called Rap, Rap, Rap by a guy named Commodore Gilgamesh, who had a scene that looked like Artie Lang, but in the video it uses Peppermint Park's Ernie. And I didn't know what Peppermint Park was until 2 years later when I asked in the comments section of that video, what's the character's name with the puppet, what's the show called? Someone answered Peppermint Park. And what happened was, from there, I started buying the volumes. And to your second question, whatever happened to the puppets, they are actually in a warehouse safe with John Horton. So he has everything in storage. According to his daughter, they're in a warehouse, kind of like a public storage unit. But I don't know what exactly is in that unit, nor do I live anywhere around there. So it's not like I could just go over to Los Angeles at any time. That's why I've been playing phone tag with his daughter. But I do know the two songs. I've seen them on Romantic Bros channel, so I mean, if you want to send them to me, I'll take a listen. But I think I know which ones you're talking about. But thank you, though. I mean, I do appreciate it. One of the most difficult things was getting in touch with people because a lot of people don't want to associate themselves with it. I've noticed that, and I'll get to that in a minute. Would the puppets ever be for sale? That's a good question because as you're asking that, I'm trying to buy them. I'm actually trying to purchase them from his daughter. No, that's kind of one of those things where you don't want to ask because when you do something like that and you're trying to form a conversation with someone, I don't want her to think I'm being juvenile or I'm joking around with her. I'm being serious, like I want to purchase them. The reason why they come out the way they do is actually, I'm going to get to that in 1 second. I just want to mention what Pizza Boy said right here. Yeah, Ernie was on Volume 6. Excuse me. Yeah, I don't really remember the actual character's name. But the Peppermint Park puppets were created by a guy named Dan O'Quinn. Now, Dan O'Quinn was commissioned back in 1987 to create the Peppermint Park characters. What happened was they were working in a building that I wish it was on like Shore Road or something. There was the address is available online. If you look up previous bank statements from Televitics, you could actually find their invoices from 86, 87, 88. According to Dan O'Quinn, John had a vision of creating the puppets out of almost not a hyper realistic, but almost like a realistic claymation type of feel and look. Well, Dan wasn't too familiar with it, and the original puppets are the ones that were finalized, but they didn't have pupils. So they were actually a puppet without eyes. John actually stated in a board meeting with Dan that he did not care for the puppets. He said, try to find a way to fix them now. All Dan did was add pupils to the puppets, and John loved it. So, what one person might find as disturbing, another may be satisfied or interested in it. So, that's the whole reason why they were made that way. They were made out of, I believe it's a clay. I wish I had spoken to Dan and recorded it because he had a lot of good info. I haven't heard from him in almost 2 years. But yeah, the puppets are about 32 years old and they're still sitting in that Los Angeles warehouse. I would love to own them. But I'm trying to do baby steps because I have been, as the weird guy who makes videos can tell you, I have been back and forth trying to find this thing for years. My real name's Patrick. But yeah, I've been back and forth trying to figure this out. That's a good question. I never asked if the raw recordings were ever available. You know what? When she replies to me, I will promise to make a question about that because that's something that never crossed my mind. I'm sorry, just give me 1 second. I just have to answer a quick question on Discord. Okay, thanks. I would love to know if there's some deleted footage. Hey, that's cool. I mean, being a puppeteer is amazing and being an animator is amazing. I never really had the patience to go into animation, but kudos to you. That's great. I used to draw and stuff, but I never found it to be something I could make a career out of. But to answer your question, I would love to see some deleted scenes. Maybe there's actually some recordings of cut footage. I'm sure it exists. But the problem is it's like you're trying to contact with someone, but you have a middleman, and the middleman doesn't always get to being like doesn't get to you at a timely fashion. And I don't blame her because she has a busy life, but I kind of just wish that my messages weren't really that ignored. And thank you. I mean, dude, thank you so much for being a fan. And I hope you enjoy my continuing content. Am I actually a fan of Peppermint Park or just fascinated by how bizarre it is? I'll be honest, when I watched the tapes for the first time, I had to sometimes like take a step back and realize what I'm getting myself into. It's not that I don't like the show, but the show doesn't fascinate me. The background, like what you're saying, I'm fascinated by how bizarre it is. I'm fascinated by the origin of it, like the concept of it. To me, that's what I find more interesting. Because, yeah, the show is what it is. It's a simple show for little kids. But when you go into the meat and the potatoes of everything, you really start to get into the ideas of why was it made? Like, for example, children's programming in the 80s really didn't need a Peppermint Park. If you want to get technical, because you had Sesame Street, you had all these different shows. You had Muppet Babies, things like that. You had all these shows that were already entertaining kids. And that's when you realize Peppermint Park almost feels like something that shouldn't have been made, in a sense. And I hate to say that, but when you really think about it, who asked for this? You know what I mean? That's why it fascinates me, because there's so much ambiguity toward Peppermint Park. Like, you don't know what the actual story is. You don't know why the show was created, and you want to know. That's why I'm very grateful that Blame It on George is allowing me to record a segment for him. I'm very grateful. I'm almost done with the script. I'm going to read it off when I get a better microphone. Speaking of which, I'm getting a better microphone next month because I know this one is complete shit. Oh, wow. Thank you. I didn't know you've been watching my videos for a year. That means a lot to me. Yeah, he said he gave me I don't want to spoil all of his information, but he gave me a rundown of what it's going to be about, and I do think it will be interesting, and I'm very grateful that he's offering to have me join, because that to me is an honor. It's like, wow, a small channel like mine is actually being put in. Oh, cool. Thank you, being a YouTube partner. What do you mean by that exactly? I'm confused. Yeah, I mean, I'm at 1,800 subscribers, and it took me 7 years to get that. And I've been through like times where I wouldn't even go on a chat, like I wouldn't even access my channel, because I always felt like, what am I doing with this? But yeah, I mean, I am really proud of it. I never expected that. But when he was the one who reached out to me, because he messaged me on Discord one day, and he found my Discord, and I was like, wow, thank you. You know, I didn't expect this. I'm very honored. All right, cool. I'll see you next stream. I do streams every Monday now. I'm hoping that I can get more info on Peppermint Park. This is kind of why I wanted to do this, because I know people really care about the show, and I don't want to throw them under the bus like, oh yeah, I'm done. This is it. I want them to feel like there's a sense of there's something still happening. And I should mention that my big goal is to keep this one towards gaming, like I said. But there's this thought that I've been having in my head about doing a sister channel with a certain story regarding Peppermint Park, and I'm hoping that I can do it. It's something that has been in my mind since the day I started uploading these. Well, since the day I started uploading the second one. Because after I noticed the actual demand for it, I noticed the puppets, there was something that really got to me. To be honest, I don't know the puppets' names in the Bubbles video. I don't want to give any random names out because I really don't remember. But the one who would know is a guy named It's the Lazy Town. He did all the research of Peppermint Park. For example, the names and everything. He's great with that. I think one guy's name begins with a W. I would go to him. He's got all the information on that. Yeah, there is a Peppermint Park wiki. Are you in my Discord group or no? Because I think it's posted in there. I think it's like you should just Google Peppermint Park wiki and then put my name. Okay, I'll upload a link to the Discord starting next week. Sorry, not next week. Starting in my next video, I'll start putting it into the link so you can actually into the bio so you can actually access it. But if you go on Google right now and you look up Peppermint Park Wiki and you put my name, I see Roserade in, I'm sure you'll find something. I don't know if he uses the wiki as much anymore, but it would be worth taking a look. Yeah, I feel bad because even though I was able to find the show, I really don't know the names that well. No, I tried to find if Televidix actually produced anything, but the problem is Televidix must have opened sometime in '86 and went defunct around '99 because the invoices stop at around, I believe it's the year 1998 was the last invoice you can find online, which leads me to believe that Televidix was only made for Peppermint Park, and I'm guessing that John wanted to do something else. However, there's nothing else that arises from Televidix. There's like these fake websites, like there's a Weebly that claims that it made Candle Cove and all that bullshit. It's not real. Candle Cove is not a real thing. Meat Farm, which they claimed was made by John Horton, Alyssa deconfirmed that. She said it's not real. So that's just someone messing with people. But yeah, Televidix is very different. However, Mark V Productions did produce other things. In fact, they produced illegal versions of Disney cartoons. So, for example, I finished getting rid of a VHS. I sold it online a month ago. Wish I kept it just to tell you guys about this. There's an illegal series of VHSs produced by Mark V Productions that were Betty Boop, which I believe is free domain. I really don't know. I don't remember if she's free domain or not. I'm probably wrong. I don't want to quote myself. But it had original 1920s Mickey Mouse cartoons, 1930s actually, and a few other segments, but they were all not licensed. For example, Disney did not endorse these VHSs, which leads me to believe that's the reason why Mark V Productions is not seen past like 1995. But Televidix is its own segment and only produced Peppermint Park. Which is unfortunate in a sense. Because I would have loved to see more. Yeah, it is interesting. But yeah, one day I'm going to have to do a live stream where I show all the invoices and stuff. Because it does give you an interesting thought as to what was happening in the Peppermint Park, I guess, cast. One thing I noticed was if you follow the invoices, you could actually see the addresses that they were sent to. The address switches like twice. So I'm guessing that the original set and the building that they used for production must have been two separate locations, or they moved locations. I believe they moved locations, if I'm correct. I don't want to quote myself on that, but I remember seeing something about that. I think it was Dan who mentioned it. Yeah, I always thought about that if they made any more. The weird thing I noticed though is that Peppermint Park, the demo that you had sold to me, I believe it goes up to volume 4. But then 5 and 6 are the last two. I don't think that there was one. I really don't know. And the weird thing is, the tape is just a recycled volume 2 cassette box. I just don't get it. But then again, I mean, this is a very low budget company. I really don't know at all. But I'll make sure to keep it in mind to ask. And oh shit, I forgot to buy an antidote. That's crazy that you were able to find that for such a cheap price. I remember I used to sit up. I did a couple of live streams, I think, where I would sit up and I remember looking up info, trying to contact the actors and actresses. One of them's like a Lucille Ball impersonator. It's crazy trying to find that stuff. But the problem is the show is so ambiguous and it only has like a small following. It's not like, for example, when what's that thing? Pinwheel was looking for the Clockman video. That had a huge following with a ton of people looking, getting involved. It had a bigger outcry than Peppermint Park. And I guess the thing that always made me a little frustrated was I always wanted to see Peppermint Park completed, and I feel like it is, but I always feel like there's something more that's there. Not maybe not a video, but maybe just seeing maybe there's unused content or puppets. Maybe there's something that's left out. I don't know, but I wish I could find that out. I guess that's why I keep coming back to this whole thought. Just when I think I'm done with something, I just can't let go of it. And part of me's cool with it. I don't mind. I almost feel like I've become the father of Peppermint Park in a sense. I guess that's why I have such like a raw emotion toward it. Like I care about it in a sense. Exactly. I know you're the same way with Nightmare Ned. I feel like you're the father figure of that show. When it comes to finding anything on it, I feel like that's your thing. But I do give you a lot of credit because I know you really go out of your way to find shows. That's great. I remember watching a couple of the videos that you made. I'm just glad that everything else is all good. For example, I was for the longest time like I felt so bad being so quiet for so long. Like I wouldn't access my Discord. I wasn't really accessing my YouTube channel. I didn't even upload a video since May before I started doing this again. And yeah, the channel is a little wonky right now. Like it needs a lot of tweaks, but I'm very happy with what I'm doing. And I feel good knowing that I can keep this as a way of preserving Peppermint Park on the channel in some sense. Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna fully go back to it. Like, I'm not gonna completely dedicate my whole life to it again. Kind of like what I was doing a couple of years ago, like trying to find all the tapes. But I'm gonna keep it on the channel. I don't want to get rid of it. Like, for example, I do plan on doing more with it, and I I know I keep mentioning it, and I don't want to spoil it, but if I can somehow get my plan to come into effect, I have a big idea for Peppermint Park, and no, it's not recreating the series. Because I know I mentioned that one time, that's not what I'm looking for this time. I want to do something completely different with it, but I desperately need that Ernie puppet first. I mean, if you could put two and two together, you probably know what I'm doing here. It would be nice, though, to have it. Yeah, you know what? Screw it. I'm just gonna. It's not totally spoilers because it might not even happen. But I started doing a script. This was. Hold on. This must have been in September of this year I started. It was one day I was at work and I just started writing. And I wanted to come up with a Peppermint Park origin story, but I wanted to make it a bit of a dark story. Because what I started with, like, oh yeah, I could do a documentary. At the same time, Blame It on George, he's kind of doing that. So I don't want to steal that from him, especially if he's offering to put me in his video. So I wanted to come up with this idea called Peppermint Park Origins, which would focus on the puppets themselves and how this all came into effect and how there's a different side to the story. It's if it does happen, which I pray that it does, it would be a lot of fun to do. I actually got a couple of friends that were willing to do it as well. So that's something that if it ever were to come into effect, please don't get your hopes up because it's something that I can't guarantee at all. If you want, maybe if you want to help me out, I could even, if you want to message Alyssa and help me out, I'm more than willing, weirdo, if you want. That's crazy. 7 years. And you only have 2 episodes left? Dude, that's awesome. I can't believe that, though. That is so cool that you were able to get all that. See, I think my problem with. Oh, have I mentioned the VHS tape I have? No, Wait, you mean the Nightmare Ned one? You probably did, but I forgot. So you could re-mention it to me because I don't have the best memory. I actually, someone had said this to me, and I find this really funny. Um, I told you guys earlier that I had to answer a couple of questions on Discord. This one is actually more like I was trying not to laugh, but somebody was saying to me, since you're working on a Pokemon game, did you ever consider working on a Peppermint Park game? And I'm not that good with game design. I have a couple of friends who are great at programming, but I don't know if they've ever designed a game. But I don't even know if like we would have the like resources to dedicate ourselves to that. That would be pretty funny though. My Pokemon Purple that I'm working on is kind of something that's something I do want to talk about at some point, but I'll get to that at a later note. Okay, just upload 2 episodes. Oh, dude, are you serious? So he has the tape then. Oh wait, or is that the tape that you bought? The episodes that were taken down. Oh, so you have the tape that the guy uploaded on YouTube. Dude, that's crazy. That is insane. That's so cool though because I remember you having a video. You have like the Windows PC game and everything. That's crazy. I can't believe that you have that. That is, I'm still like mind blown. That is so cool. Oh my god. But I feel like yeah, that's like your thing, and I know you've always been looking on eBay trying to find those. I remember talking to you a couple of like maybe about a year ago, and you mentioning that. I can't. I like. See, that's the reason why I can't totally take myself away from lost media, because when I hear stories about that, I just get interested. Like I always say to myself, "Oh, what am I gonna do with this channel? What am I gonna do with it?" Like this was me months ago, and when I hear stories like that, I just come back and I'm like, "That is so cool." I like that's what inspires me to continue with lost media. But I don't want to, like I said, I don't want to make it a central focus, but that does play a huge role in why I care about it. I probably should have called a Weedle and not a Kakuna. But yeah, that's why I just that is just I'm sorry, I just keep thinking about that. That is absolutely insane. Oh wow. So that was 7 years ago. That's crazy. Man, 7 years ago, I'm trying to remember. My channel was actually just starting out because I remember this channel nine or so. Oh, you're 15. Gotcha. That's cool. I must have started. Well, I was only 23. Well, 23 now, 25 when Peppermint Park came into my effect. See, I didn't even know what Nightmare Ned was, to be honest. I had never heard about it, and when I googled it, it was apparently on when I was a kid. Problem was I was not big into Disney at the time, so I never really watched it. The only show I remember watching was Recess and Buzz Lightyear. I think yeah, I think Buzz Lightyear had a show. Oh my god! All right, I haven't watched Courage the Cowardly Dog since I was maybe about 7 or 8, but that's cool. I never got into Goosebumps. My girlfriend's brother was heavy into it. That and Are You Afraid of the Dark, which I feel bad. Like, the problem was we didn't have cable when I was a kid, and the only cable we had was illegal. So we only had it for maybe about a year or two. And I only remember watching Rugrats on it. So by the time we got regular cable, it wasn't until 2002. So I think Goosebumps was off the air by then. So I never really grew up with that show. But I do know of it because I remember the books. And I remember watching one episode with a kid who lost his hands. He was like some piano player or something. That's the only episode I remember. And some kid who gets locked inside of a box or something. It was weird. Kablam. Whatever. Did they ever find that whole series? Because I remember that show, watching it at one of my friends' houses. That was the one with those two kids. Oh, hold on. Sorry, I'm going to call. There we go. I remember that show being on TV. It was like these two kids, but they were like flat or something. And it was, I don't remember much about it, but I remember it was like a series of videos, like segments or something. I could be wrong. I remember it on Nicktoons, that's why. Yeah, it was like some kid with blue hair, and I don't remember the other one. But the one thing I do remember about it was this like series of action figures that were all like distorted action figures, but they were like a quote unquote like Justice League. That's the only thing I remember. I don't know if those two shows are related. Oh yeah, and there was this weird thing. Hold on, it was maybe. Hold on, let me Google it. There was this other weird ass show that was on there. Give me a second. It was like the maybe you could help me out because I'm not. I probably won't find it. But it was this show about a girl. She was like a 2D character with blue hair. I don't know if that was part of it. It was like this weird stop motion, like they looked like cardboard cutouts in a sense. Life with Loopy, that must have been it. That and let me Google Action League now. I'm curious. Yeah, this was it. It was like some weird Barbie doll with like Shazam clothes. Yeah, this was it. I remember these were all on Nicktoons years after the show was on TV. My girlfriend probably knows about all this because she was a huge Nickelodeon person. I never cared for Nickelodeon except for Rugrats as a kid. So I'm gonna next. Well, when I talk to her, I'm gonna ask her about this. I'm curious. Oh wow, Tombstone Pizza. I don't. Hold on. Oh my God, 97. My brother was born that year. That's cool though. Promotional lunchbox? Wait, from Life with Loopy or Action League Now? Or Kablam? I'm confused. Sorry. Oh, alright. Are all those shows tied into Kablam? Or no? Oh, okay. Maybe you could help me out with something. There was this show called Spider and Fly that was on Nicktoons. Is that also part of that Kablam show? Because that one's one I remember. Only because we had this friend who used to sing the theme song, and we more or less used to make fun of him for it. We were like 9, so give or take. Yeah, I'm gonna Google that. Spider and Fly. It was this weird segment that was on Nicktoons. Let me see if I could find it. Hmm. Yeah, it was like just, I guess, a series of 4 shorts. Oh, it was just a short film, that's all. But it's apparently on the Lost Media Archive. Was it ever found? I'm curious. Wonder why it's on the archive, though. I don't know. I do know that show, though. Life with Loopy, now that comes back to me. That show was weird. I remember it reminded me of this other show called Angela Anaconda. That show was fucking weird. And I remember Inter. Huh. I don't know. There was this other show. Maybe you could help me out. I don't know if it was part of Kablam or if it was just another short. I don't know the name of it, but it was an alien and a caveman, and it was like a stop motion show. Because I remember there being a show about an alien and a caveman, and it was stop motion. That's all I know about it. And the caveman would only say one word, I think, throughout the entire short. Whatever the alien said. Oops. I don't even have a potion. That sucks. Prometheus and Bob. That must have been the show. Oh my god. That stuff, that I can't get over that. I remember watching some of that stuff. Like I would catch it on Nicktoons, but I never watched it when it was brand new. But that's so funny. Thank you for telling me about that though. There was hold on. No, Kappa Mikey was something that must have been later cuz that was a show I watched and they had new episodes on. All I know is that whatever year Nicktoons had Kappa Mikey on was the same year I found out about all these things. Yeah, that was a fun show, mainly because I was into anime at the time. I still am, but not as much. But yeah, there was this show. I don't think it was a Nickelodeon show. It was called Angela Anaconda. Show was creepy. It was like newspaper cutouts, but they would move. And the only reason I remember it was because it was in the Digimon movie, if I'm right, which was an. I mean, if you're a Digimon fan like I am, it's one thing, but to watch it as a whole, it's god awful. Really, what animes you been watching? I know I'm gonna lose to this guy. This sucks. Oh, Death Note. My friend actually finished that years ago. I watched half of it, I think. One Punch Man. My friend David watches that. The only anime I watched recently that was still on TV at the time was Dragon Ball Super, and that's because I'm a huge Dragon Ball Z fan. Naruto I was huge into in the late 2000s though. Oh, I unsubscribed from Netflix a couple of months ago. Once they took my Naruto off, I immediately unsubscribed from them because I remember they had the first 167 episodes on, and then they just took them all off. And I was like, no, you're going to keep the Stone of Gel movie, but you're not going to keep those? No thanks. Because that was the only reason I had it at the time. Because while I have the whole series on DVD, I wasn't a big fan of the aspect ratio. I might, if I could actually, I would might have, I might resubscribe. I'll see. The last time I was subscribed was in August. I really wish I knew. Like, if I didn't have such beef with Pumpkin Miriam, I wish I could ask her about why. Oh, Kiss Anime? I used to. You know what? I should probably get back on there. I was using that for. Was it Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, maybe? I think I was using it for that. But I wish I actually didn't have beef with Pumpkin Miriam. Mainly because I wanted to know where she got the VHSs, but at the same time, I don't see myself having a conversation with her. Mainly because we ended on a really bad note. And because my brother nonchalantly cursed her out. Plus, I wasn't a fan of all the lies anyway. It is what it is. But I just wish I knew where those freaking tapes came from. Because that would give me some insight. Oh my god, do you really? Weirdos. Oh, wasn't that CGI show? I think. Was it a CGI show? Skirt. I'm getting a Weedle. Yeah. I think it was. I remember seeing like videos of it, but I never watched it when it was on TV. Didn't they have a toy line? I could be wrong. Yeah, I remember seeing it. Maybe it was from a Blame It on George video. I could be wrong, but I remember seeing something related to weirdos, but I didn't know what it was until last year. I think it's cool that people have such a high interest in these things, though. Oh wow, it's already 11. I'm probably gonna be ending the stream in about 5 minutes, but I'm just glad that people do have some awareness that Peppermint Park will not be fully over. And I feel bad. I just want to apologize if anybody keeps the bell on my notifications and was getting a shit ton of notifications on live streams. I have to fix my problem with my phone. Yeah, I should do some more calls on Discord. I probably will do something like a Discord call with some people for a live AMA set of questions. Maybe Maybe next Monday I can do that. I wouldn't mind, but I would just need to get a better mic first, because it would make it a little bit easier. The only thing I want to make sure of is that if I'm being asked a question, that the sound will go through. But I think I'm going to end the video here only because it's about 11 o'clock here now, and I got to finish up some stuff for tomorrow, and I got to check in if John Horton, excuse me, if John Horton's daughter got back to me, because I haven't even looked. So I'm going to head to bed. The stream's been awesome. I'll be doing another Peppermint Park live stream on next Monday. But if anything should come up in between that time, I'll be around. Alright guys, I'll see you later. Have a good night.